morning. It's Sandra Pike here from Royal Page Atlantic and the Pike Group. And we have another great set of panelists today. And our topic is going to be on military moves. So from Trenton to Kingston to Borden, we're just going to get an idea of what's happening in their markets. But first, we have to introduce these great ladies. And Lorraine, I'll start with you.
Hey everybody, it's Lorraine O'Quinn here, and I am in the Trenton, Coney West Belleville Market, CFB Trenton. Nice to meet you all.
And yourself, Linda?
Good morning, my name is Linda Knight. I work in the Angus Barrie area with an office located very, very close to CF Borden.
And yourself, Jane?
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Jane Furter. I'm a real estate broker with Royal LePage Pro Alliance Realty in Kingston, Ontario. We have 2 offices, and I have 26 years of experience. Thank you.
Oh, wow, you've been in real estate that long. That's crazy. Good stuff.
Behind you, Jane. You got 4 years on me.
Wow. So let's talk about, the markets. If I am from Halifax or I'm from Greenwood and I'm moving to Trenton, what can I expect, Lorraine?
Yeah, so actually things are getting better for buyers. It's been a heck of a few years since the pandemic. We had been seeing where a buyer could be doing anywhere from 1 to 10 offers before they were successful. So with the rate increases, I guess, and the a war and the budget and so on, we've seen it's still a seller's market. I think January, February, March, part of April, we went from a ballistic market to now a seller's market. So depending on price point, if you're a country properties are still going way over. And lots of offers on offer day. It seems to be since the pandemic, people want a lot of space, especially if they're coming from the west of us, from Toronto. And if we're in the 650 and below, still quite crazy. Between 7 and 9, if you're in a subdivision, we have been, although doing lots of staging, professional photos and so forth, there are a lot of properties on offer day not receiving offers. And
wow.
Not all of them. It's still a seller's market, of course, but it's managing expectation, right? So we're not seeing the same prices we had seen in that ballistic market, I call it. We're still up from last year, certainly. And so it's easier for the sellers. We do have more inventory on the market. We had seen sometimes, you'd see 2 houses on a house hunting trip and waiting for offer days. And now, a few of our house hunting trips in the last couple of weeks have seen anywhere from 4 to 10 properties, which has not been seen in a while. So it's still a seller's market, but it is a lot less challenging for the buyer, for sure.
And how about yourself, Linda? When people are coming up around your way to work and at Borden, what can a military member expect?
Yeah, it's actually it's better than ever for us. I mean, for the last several years, anyone that's coming on their HHT, it's been very dry. So it's been very difficult and challenging to find them a place to live, and especially in a reasonable price point. Now, because we have so much more inventory, they have a lot more options to choose from. So from our side, because our market's very similar to yours, Lorraine, it's almost celebratory. We love this market because now everyone has an opportunity, and certainly our military have an opportunity to buy at a more reasonable price, knowing that they have to sell in 3 or 4 years. So we're really embracing it. We're running with it. But there are challenges, you're right, with the selling side and managing expectations. Going from one really, really hot market to right into another overnight is, there's a learning curve for everybody there. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. Yeah.
And how about yourself, Jane? Someone who's moving to Kingston as a military member, what are they expecting?
Yes, thank you, Sandra. So Kingston in the news reports back in the first few months of the year was the Goldilocks market of the country, but that has changed, especially in direct relation to the mortgage rate increases in the past 45 days. So more opportunities for buyers. I'm actually quite excited to say that, because it's been like Lorraine and Linda's market and your market, Sandra, steroid driven and ballistic as well. Now I think we're into a seller's market, but there's opportunities for buyers. Typically in the last 2 years, just a 5-day house hunting trip was so very difficult for military families that now we do a lot of our planning ahead of time. So the earlier that we can start speaking to buyer clients that know that they're being posted to Kingston or to Barrie or to Trenton, to prepare in advance. But there's more opportunity now, I think, when they come. We've been doing FaceTime walkthroughs in advance as well, and even some Facebook purchases. I recently helped Canadian military clients in Australia moving to Kingston, and they purchased before their house hunting trip. But we are flexible, and we're here to help, and certainly happier on the buying side to see some changes in the market.
So Lorraine, I would tell you that here, I mean, typically we have over 2,000 homes on the market. And I think now we have 350-ish homes. So wow. I would say that most of our military members are doing virtuals because it's not much sense to come here for a house hunting trip. So are you doing virtuals, or how is that happening?
Yeah, last year more than this year. This year we have maybe so far about 50-50, especially if they're coming in from Kingston, or if they're coming from Barrie, or if they're coming from Ottawa. It's quick to zip down for a day. I know last year we probably did maybe 70% of our military house hunting trips we're buying virtually. And I know that's really tough for people to take, but if they have friends in the area, we're doing the virtual where, eyes where their nose, where they're checking out the area and having a pre-inspection. That's been really successful there. So I think people have gotten comfortable with it, buying virtually, but we've had quite a few on the ground this year. We've got a couple in right now, actually a few house hunting trips that are physically here. And I know my son is out with one this morning, and he's got him in his car. It's like, that's so foreign. Like, wow, we're sitting in the same car with somebody again. But I mean, we're coaching people to do what's best for them, right? If they're not able to get here till later in the season, we're really highly encouraging them to buy virtually and have their pre-inspections and potentially a family member come to have a look. Because really, if you're not getting here before June, mid-June, inventory really, it's low as it is. But if you're waiting till end of June or July, then it's, here's the house that's left on the market. If you don't like it, we'll see what comes up while you're here. So yeah, more on the ground this year.
Interesting. So Linda, in your market, if I am a military member coming in, am I competing with a lot of people still? Am I waiving my conditions? What's happening there?
It really depends on the property. So the price point of the property, some of the middle sort of price points that we were talking about, the 6s and whatnot, for sure you can count on them going into multiple offers, and then you wouldn't see conditions, of course, in that instance. But anything over the 700,000 mark up to about $1 million is honestly a very average market. We're doing very little virtuals. A lot of the showings are face-to-face, and we're seeing a little thing that we call conditions. I don't know if you guys have heard of those, the conditions. So home inspections and financing is back in play. Even SBPs are back in play in some cases. So we're very, very average, normal market, at balanced market. Still veering on the side of sellers, but we're definitely heading to way more balance than it sounds like your market, Sandra.
Yeah. So Jane, I'll just talk to you about our market, and I want to get an idea of what your market is. So in 2021 here in Halifax, we would have had 2 years of military members moving because we didn't have them in 2020. We would have had people who were from Nova Scotia move back home because of the office landscaping changing, that they can work from home. And because our COVID numbers were so phenomenal, we had other people from Canada, the US, who were just purchasing here. So that last year made a perfect storm for offers and, multiple offers, properties going up to $200,000 and over. But I will tell you, in the past 4 weeks, our market has changed so dramatically. We don't have those people, moving here this year. And, before we got on the call, we were talking about, how offers are slowing down. Would you say that's happening in Kingston as well?
It's definitely slowing down, but it seems to be property specific, Sandra, as well. The other thing is we're only 2 to 2.5 hours away from the GTA. So in the profile of demographics where the baby boomers are getting older, we're one of the prime markets for them to come to retire now or within the next 5 years. So we do have a large portion of our market military, but we've got a lot of people coming because we've got the best healthcare in Eastern Ontario next to Ottawa. We're on the lake. We have the highest number of restaurants per capita in Canada. So the lifestyle is there, the arts, the culture, and everything too. So military families are competing with first-time home buyers. They're competing with empty nesters looking to size down, and then those moving from the GTA. Now, what's happened recently in the last 4 weeks is, and we see it a lot in news reports, is the attraction to move back to the big city. And it's very interesting, even for those moving out of the GTA, the young couples that wanted to move to the Kingston or Trenton or Barrie area to work from home and to have more of that lifestyle too. That slowed down a bit, but we've still got those clients as well too, just trying to get in. So but still competition out there as well. But yes, we have seen a change in the kind of that. It seems to be across the country, right across the board in the last 4 to 5 weeks.
And how are you managing the expectations of sellers in your market, Lorraine?
Yeah, so just having those conversations up front, for us, I mean, same as Jane, we're getting a lot of people coming from the west of us. We have the Prince Edward County, which is like Little Niagara, Canada's largest Air Force base, millennials, retirees, and through following things, Durham has slowed down, like GTA has slowed down. So some of the feedback has been just a couple recently listings we're getting feedback that they're able to find a house closer to work now, so they're not coming. Some of them aren't coming this way, some of them still are, but it's coaching them in the beginning and showing them the stats and showing them the numbers and showing the reasons why the market is changing and what the government is trying to accomplish has been working. So if you're managing that expectation, right, because that's our biggest pain point is they're seeing what their neighbor got January, February, March, and even, first week of April kind of thing. Like that ship has sailed. It's like, and it's not day trading here. We're buying a home. Some people are speculating that the prices are going to drop. But if you're waiting to July, August, and we see another rate increase, you're still outputting the same kind of money. So, I think if you're educating them and showing them all the numbers and the reason why we're seeing this change and not to have the same expectation, it's easier. And I think, overall, if we're still in a seller's market, but if we're moving, before the end of the year more into a balanced market, I think it's a win-win for everybody. Some people are freaking out that I'm not getting the same price, but if you're moving to say Ottawa or Kingston, Halifax, Barrie, as we're having this conversation, if the prices they're going down here, they're also going down elsewhere. So it's not like you're going down and the other places are up here, right? It's just across paper. So I feel the sellers are starting to accept it more and it's just communication. If you're communicating, I think everybody's is able to handle it better, I suppose. As like I just had one that sold last night for $945. We had it listed at $9. Fabulous neighborhood, just went for $945. And a couple months ago, we had a $1,020,000, $1,001,000, and $1,175,000, in the same neighborhood. But through conversation and coaching them and educating them, we kind of come in right at where we were expected, and we exposed it to the market. We held out. And now it's having the conversation, should we be holding out? Should we be doing 24-hour irrevocable or 48? Because one of the stats I recently read in one of the areas of Durham, 95% of houses weren't seeing offers on offer day. And I think what's happening is the buyers are waiting to see. They're no longer, and when people are putting them at a certain price point and they're taking them down and increasing them by 100,000, people are exhausted by that, you know, so it's having the conversations, how are we pricing the property, you know?
So Linda, would you say that if I'm two houses on the same street and one house listed at 5 and sold for 7, now the other house, let's say a month later, should we be listing the second house at 700,000, or do we list it at 500,000 the way the other house was? Like here, offers aren't coming in the way they used to. So will the prices go down, or do we list where the other house was and not hold offers? Like what's your strategy?
Well, it really comes hand in hand with what Lorraine was saying, is having what I consider very challenging, difficult conversations, especially early on when the change first happened. Because as the realtor, we should be the professional, the one that's educated on what's happening. But unfortunately, what happened in those early days was the public hadn't caught on yet. And so we have to get everyone sort of to trust our professional expertise, start showing them the data, start showing them that there's shifts in the market and that we can no longer go toe to toe with something that's happened a month ago. And we had that scenario. We had it whereby we did a 48-hour irrevocable rather than holding offers on an offer date. And all the neighbors and friends of, our seller was saying, what's your realtor doing? Why would they do that? And I said, you're just going to have to trust that I pay very close attention to the market. And this is the strategy that we have to be using. And they did, and it worked out perfectly fine for them. But those early days, the media hadn't caught on, conversations like this hadn't happened. And so we were having those uphill battle conversations with our clients to say, no, listen, it has turned, things are changing. And I guess it's all about, why we're the professional and why we are good at what we do is making sure that they're trusting what we are doing and what we're saying because of our experience. And that comes with experience. That comes with, working with clients year after year after year. So I'm telling the agents on my team all the time, pick up the phone. We got to have these tough conversations now. And it's not our favorite thing to do because in a seller's market, we knew things would, sell. Wonderful. We're celebrating. That's wonderful. But now is when, it's when our jobs get hard, because being a realtor isn't easy. And this is where it gets really hard. And you were saying about the extra things, the marketing and things like that, Jane, where we have to do everything to make sure we stand out. And that's why we've been in the business so long, though, so that because we can do that. And you'll start seeing, other realtors sort of drop off because I think they thought maybe this was an easy market. They got in during the seller's market. Oh, it can sell houses, no problem. Now is where it gets really hard. And so we're having those tough conversations for sure.
So a couple of weeks ago, the government came out and they were talking about banning blind bidding. And they wanted to, they're doing a pilot project, I think in Ontario, about like an auction style. So I had interviewed an agent in Australia, and how they do it is that they put the house on the market, let's say for 4 weeks. Every buyer has to come in, do their due diligence from having their financing, their home inspection, lawyer review, the whole 9 yards. And the day of auction, everybody knows the property that they're getting into, and and everybody's ready to go once the auction starts. So do you think that having that type of format, Jane, for example, in Kingston, would help with the housing crisis?
No, I don't think so. There's definitely privacy issues there, and selling the largest investment anyone ever has in their life. There's a lot more details, parameters, moving parts that just auctioning off a property. I just don't think, I don't know, a couple of agents tried something like that as well, and it actually backfired. In fact, for the seller, it left money on the table. And just I think buyers want more of a transparent process. And but I think also in respect to sellers, there's the privacy issue too. And you know, showing all of the offers, you know, I think I don't think that would work so well here as well, or maybe in any market.
How about yourself? Do you think it'd make a difference to your housing market?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, depending on what side you're coming from, if you're the buyer, you want it. If you're the seller, you don't, right? Buyer wants to buy low, seller wants to sell high. So I really feel it should be up to the seller if this transparency. I mean, certainly transparency makes for really trustworthy relationships with our clients. But not seeing it before. I mean, I've seen people debate it on both sides. You know, I guess when you look at some of those offers that come in where we're only privy with the seller, when we're sitting there, you know, you have 7 offers on an $800,000 house and they're all averaging around 875, and then boom, somebody comes out with a 950, 975. I mean, certainly that's really benefiting the seller in the format we're doing it now. If we have an open format, the way we're speaking about, maybe they wouldn't have seen that number, you know, because everybody's so I think I like the transparency and the honesty and everybody knowing, but I really think when it comes down to it, we may see money left on the table for the seller. Buyer will love that, seller won't. So yeah, it's a good question. I'm not really sure.
Do we know where it's going to be piloted at all? Like, do you know where that's going to happen?
I don't actually. I'm not sure. No. Girls, Linda, Jane. No, I don't. Sorry, we can't answer that one for you.
No, I think there was a video on Instagram or something that really caused a stir, and so I don't know if it was just, you know, for marketing purposes or something too. But it's an election year, we have to remember, and the Liberals made promises, and they're just trying to follow through with at least something to say, hey, we did what we said that we would do, and at least we tried. So, but there are big privacy issues around that. And like Lorraine had said, you know, buyers want to see that, but then when the buyer buys, they're eventually a seller, and then they won't want to see that. So I think there has to be a happy medium that pleases everyone, and maybe providing a little more transparency as to the process now is certainly the way to go. And I think that they've implemented some of those measures in BC a few years ago with representation.
So Linda, do you see the inventory increasing more in your area to make it more stable?
Oh yes, definitely. We've seen a huge increase in inventory. Right now, I wrote down, on average, Barrie, an average market, we're looking at about 700 to 800 houses on the Barrie market. That includes Essa, Angus area. Right now, we're at 315. But during the sellers market that we had seen the past couple of months, year or so, you know, an average of maybe 100 houses if we're lucky on the market. So we've definitely seen an exponential increase for us. So we're great. We're happy working with that.
But is that normal, 300 homes? Because normal for me is about
500 to 700 houses on the market here.
Yeah. Wow. And what would be the norm in Kingston?
Well, so we've still got a housing crisis. The city is updating their official plan as well, and they've approved apartment buildings and rentals, and they're actually looking to space in creating more intensification and density in central locations where there's access to amenities and bus routes too. But we still have a housing crisis. Also, the city of Kingston for the last several years has offered an opportunity for sellers, actually homeowners, to create secondary suites and legal secondary suites, because about 80% of basement apartments in Ontario are illegal. So creating more transparency there, and egress windows and certain parameters have also created income opportunities for homeowners in Kingston too, which has increased and helped with the housing shortage to some measure.
Good stuff. So I'm from Halifax, Lorraine, and I'm going to be posted in Trenton. What's one thing I have to look forward to?
Oh my goodness, there's so much. The county, the wineries, the Trent Severn, the marina in Trenton, how close we are to the GTA. We're an hour and 45 minutes. I think being, especially in the summertime, being on the water and the county are two of my all-time favorites.
Nice. And how about yourself, Linda? What would I have to look forward to?
Well, we're about an hour north of Toronto, so that is a big draw for anyone that's coming to the area. A lot of folk from the GTA are moving up to this area for that reason, because commute isn't terrible. A lot of people work from home now. Angus has always been a slow, sleepy little town, slow moving, but it's up and coming. Certainly things are starting to come about, so new restaurants and things like that, so making it a lot more appealing. And of course our vicinity too, Wasaga Beach, Barrie, we have the lake there as well, and many amenities there. So I think that's the big draw. I love it here. I'm not from this area originally, and I've been here for 21 years now. So
good stuff.
Yeah,
and
still a small community.
Yeah, it is, right. And how about Kingston? What's the thing that someone should look forward to moving to Kingston?
Well, I can talk all day about Kingston because I was born and raised here, and Kingston was always blessed with prime location, just 2 hours from Toronto, Ottawa, half an hour to the US border, Montreal, and being on the Via Rail train line, you can actually take the train, leave your car in your driveway, go to see the Blue Jays game or Habs game in Montreal. And but we also have its lifestyle, being by the water, great place to raise a family too. We have cottage country just 15 minutes away, east, north, and west, and the best healthcare in Eastern Ontario. Lots for families to do here. Kingston's very well known. We're an institutional town with a base with RMC, Queen's University, St. Lawrence College. I moved away and I eventually came back. I just have to say, certainly appreciate everything Kingston has to offer. And I think by the draw, and even retirees moving here too, many of them went to Queen's, they're coming back full circle too. But we look forward to working with military clients and your client, Sandra, and am excited to share what Kingston has to offer.
Another great city. Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having us. It's great seeing you, Sandra.
You too.